Hello everyone, this is Tim, and today I'm going to be going over Colony of Death, weird fantasy role-playing in 17th century Maryland. And as you can tell on the bottom here, it's compatible with Lamentations of the Flame Princess, and really with any other old-school role-playing game. I don't think you'd have a hard time with this. And just like games that are based more in the past, like historical type of things. So, he was very kind, Mr. MWS, or Markoos. He sent me this in the mail, so thank you very much. Basically just like a quick little look inside here. Colony Death. Yeah, it's a little, I don't know if it's all that explicit, but it has the warning just in case. Just a quick little look here. Alright, so you have the colony, goes over some historical things. I really like the timeline that they present in here, and it's based in 1650, so they kind of set up the past, and then just kind of give you some jumping off points. It goes through the main settlements of the colony in Maryland, and it was basically set up for a place where Protestants and Catholics could get along, kind of settled together. Mostly the Protestants were more of the laborers, and the Catholics were the landowners. But it kind of goes through and talks about the different people, basically introduction, and the colony itself. How Lord Baltimore had set this all up for people. It talks a little bit about the Native Americans and how they fit into all of this. Here's the timeline, and what's nice about historical fiction and historical things in general is that you can do further research after you kind of read over the highlights here. And he himself has said that this is kind of like a jumping off point, and he's done some different things here where he has had a little bit of liberties with historical accuracy. But like I said, 1650 is when this is based, and it has some cryptid information in here if you're into that sort of thing. And I think anyone who is just a fan of the area or a fan of more historical role-playing would be likely to pick this up. So St. Mary's City, Providence, Kent's Island, some of the settlements. Got a nice little map there, a little hex crawl. Goes over the people. So you got Catholics, Protestants, indentured servants, criminals, natives, namely the Pisca, I'm going to mess this up, Piscataway and Susquehannocks. And those are the two main Native American tribes that they talk about. Swedes and Virginians. And it's kind of cool just thinking in historical ways, like the fact that Catholics and Protestants are, killing each other. And, yeah, you can put a more fantasy spin on a lot of this stuff, but it's based on history. New World diseases, you have 6 of them: dysentery, typhoid fever, hookworm infestation, malaria, smallpox, and yellow fever. Encounter tables, now these are cool because they have different areas like coastal, like a reaction table, forest, hill, mountain, and like I said, the cryptids are in there, like the Sasquatch and the Schnellergeist, which is kind of like this flying creature that's on the cover. Hexenwolf, there's Migos, and there's also other things like natives and timber rattlers, copperheads, that sort of thing. So then there are the just like native creatures, natural creatures. There's also things like Chessie, which is like the lake monster. There's the Goat Men, which is very reminiscent of Dolmenwood or the Wormskin Zine. Hexenwolf, which is in one of the adventures. All kinds of different things here. Migo, you have natives, rebel officers. The proto-humans are cool. They're kind of like the cannibals. And they're kind of like cavemen in this setting. Schnellergeist, Snarlywolf, Sasquatch. Yeah, good times. So here's the first adventure, St. Mary's Shoemaker, which is in the St. Mary's City, which doesn't have all that many people in it. But it goes through and it just kind of delineates some of the major areas and places you can interact with NPCs. And it goes through and talks about the murder mystery that the adventurers can solve. And it has a lot to do about shoes. Alright, as you can see, more shoes. So Hell's Bell, I think this might be one of my favorite ones, because it has German settlers, and they're in the middle of nowhere, basically in native territory, and they have all kinds of hex magic, which is kind of translated as clerical magic in this. But it's kind of cool that they basically just have Bibles with like spells written in them, like cleric divine spells. And I lost my place, of course. You can tell I'm kind of rusty at doing the whole this video thing. So yeah, they just have like different places and the small little German settlement. I like that the clerical magic is translated like that, like said in the Bible. So the bell, this bell is awesome. There's like a bell ritual. There's a hexen wolf. Just the name of that is just cool. And little illustrations. Got those cavemen that are looking for some sweet meat. And then there's the Schneller beast, or it's also called I can't remember what I wrote down as. But yeah, it's the big flying thing that's on the cover there. I like this version a little bit better. But you got some cannibals, you got some cavemen, and this one is the Viking themed adventure. I have a friend who's really into this kind of stuff, so it talks about like the 1008 AD, the Vikings landed, and there were giants, and there's a ritual involved, and basically the Swedish trading post is over it now, and there's this mound with these artifacts of days gone by. Basically the hand and eye of Loki, the person who did the spell. There's a resurrection spell, and there's some stats for a giant. So yeah, you might not expect to deal with giants in Maryland, but that's the beauty of looking back at folklore and going through the tales and translating them in RPG terms. So to burn a witch, pretty straightforward. Do you save her? Do you not? Well, she's hanging out with the Goat Man of Maryland, which is another cryptid that is included, which I think is cool. In the back, you got some appendixes of names in Algonquin English, German, and Swedish. And then you have another map here, which is a nice 2-page spread, which I believe you can get free off of Drive-Thru RPG. Pay what you want. Chesapeake Bay. You got like the main areas and settlements. The New Sweden's up there. And in the back, they just talk a little bit about tobacco and how it's used as currency because it is worth so much to the people there. So, yeah, Colony of Death is a setting guide for the English colony of Maryland in 1650. 4 adventures, like we talked about, setting information, hex map, random encounters, and a bestiary of creatures from Maryland folklore. That's it, guys. I'll put a link down below. You can check them out. Markoos has a cool little thing here. I like that it's very condensed, concise, and this would be really easy for GM to make it a little bit more fantasy. If you don't like the idea of setting it in real-world Maryland, you could come up with different names for things, different gods for things. You could have Catholics worshiping like certain different gods or whatever. But maybe the Catholics are elves and the Protestants are dwarves. However you want to do it, But it's kind of cool setting, and it's nice to just have the physical copy. Like, yeah, I just can't get over the fact that he sent it to me. So, thank you, Markoos, and I'll talk to you guys later.